Cushing's new safety center is a source of pride for this community. It's one that the community has long awaited to have completed. But more than that, it's a source of tools for our fire department and our police department as well. Join me for a 4-part series on the new Safety Center tour. First with Chris Pixler and then followed by Police Chief Tully Holden. Kind of take us through a tour.
We came in to the lobby area, which is the part of the shared facility, lobby, training room, physical fitness room. All those are shared by police and fire. So we came through the public entrance, I guess, to the fire side, and started in down the administrative hallway, which the first office we came to would have been for the fire clerk. Carol Dennis, everybody I think knows Carol. So
Yes.
Carol does a lot for us. Not only does she, she's not only is she basically an administrative secretary, she's also a dispatcher. She also does our ambulance billing, and then for a lot of these guys, she's probably been a mom for quite a while.
Right,
So
fire station mama.
she does a lot out of that office. We, as we moved down the administrative hallway, we ran into record storage room, which is a secure room for HIPAA compliant documents. Of course, having the ambulance service.
This is something that's under kind of, well, I'll say lock and key. Maybe it's keypad
Yes.
type.
A lot of the
term,
security measures in this building, instead of having to keep up with many keys, we
Right.
keep up with a PIN code or two.
Makes it a lot easier.
It makes it a lot easier,
The
and
answer
it's secure, so we meet the HIPAA compliance that we need to for that room. Plus, it's close to Carol, so if she has to go research
Yes.
records, it's easier for her to get in there.
How
And
long do you have to keep?
we keep
records
those
for?
records for 30 years.
Wow.
Yes, and in the old facility, they were in the basement. The next office back would be the deputy fire chief's office, which you've been in our fire station many times, and he was
Yes, I have.
he was in a back corner of the fire department in the basement.
He probably doesn't know how to act. I'm
He
sure.
doesn't. He has a window, and he's up being social with
daylight,
everybody else
yeah.
now. He can see daylight. It is quite a convenience for him and I having him right upstairs and in the same hallway with me. He spent a lot of his time sitting in my office in the old building because we
Right.
work together every day. And then you round the corner is fire chief's office. Common spacing to what we had in the old building. We just new facilities, a little nicer. Then we meet the room that we're in currently, which is titled as the fire marshal's office. Of course, building a 50-year building. One of the things we were looking at was we need growth potential.
Yes.
If we needed to expand, we didn't want to have to go back to citizens and say, well, we built this building
Not
five
big
years
enough.
ago and it's
Yeah.
not big enough. So you got to keep that under control. You can do too much as well. But we do have
Right.
one office space that we're in now that is titled a fire marshal's office. So in the future, if we need that position, we'll have a space for him.
Back behind you is an old toy of a fire truck in this room. What's the story on that?
That fire truck has been in the fire chief's office or within the fire station since probably the late 70s.
Oh my goodness. And that brings me to the bell as we came around the corner. I thought that
It's
was
the
interesting.
chrome bell. It originally was on the front bumper of our ladder truck, snorkel truck that we currently have. That was pretty commonplace in that day and time to have a bell. We removed it for a funeral, put it on a stand for a funeral for that ceremony. And after that, we just decided it was better spent on that stand than it was on the front of the truck. So
Well, it has a nice place also of honor, I think.
it does have a nice place. You enter into the shift personnel's area of the building, common living room, dining room, kitchen. Is really nice, nice area for them. The guys built the table in there, the large
Beautiful.
dining room table. They have enough seating for all the guys on shift to sit around the table and eat dinner now or lunch. Then you have a living room, which is a really nice living room, pretty spacious. In the old station, remember, you had 4 chairs in the living
Yes.
room, 4 chairs in the bedroom.
Yes.
That's the only way you could get all 7 guys in there. Here, they're all 7 in the same room, and they have a really nice TV, entertainment center, and chairs. All that was purchased with donated funds or through the firefighters union.
Well,
So-
and I think to point out things like that where there was no cost to
Mhm.
taxpayers. It's really important, just like the table being handmade and the furniture. And I want to ask about that penny in the corner of the table.
Yes, as they were putting the epoxy coat on that table, it has a like a bar top epoxy coating over the wood and the paint. And one of the guys put a 2013 penny in there.
I just love that.
Commemorative of the year that we finished the table, the year we moved into the building.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be really neat 40 years from now when there's a bunch of other
yeah.
firefighters in the building talking about that.
And
so.
again, at no cost to the public, that table. There's a lot throughout here that is of no cost that a lot of people might assume, oh, I wonder what that was, or
Yeah.
the cost of it.
We strive to as much as we can through donated funds. I'll brag about the Firefighters Union. They chip in all the time and help with stuff. Example of that, not on this building, but it was at the Breast Cancer Awareness Luncheon, and the helmet that
Yes.
they donated, and I'm super excited how much money that raised for the
Mhm.
breast cancer
Isn't that
awareness. But,
exciting?
I'm real proud of those guys. They participate in the community, and just like moving day in this facility, all of them showed up. They weren't on the payroll that day, but they showed up and they started moving boxes, and they got us moved in here in 2 days.
Wow.
So
Impressive.
they're good guys. But they have a really nice kitchen in that area also. Something that we talked about is somewhat utilitarian. It's very pretty, but it's metal cabinets, it's stainless steel countertops. It's made to last 50 years. They do have 3 refrigerators, 1 for each shift, 3 dry pantry storages, 1 for each shift. And then we have a nice commercial range in there. Should last the life of the building, as well as give us the capabilities during times of emergency, the large grass fires we had last year, or the '07 ice storms. We fed the electric departments and all the crews that were out working, and that gives us that capability out of this kitchen here as well.
So each shift has their own refrigerator, their own pantry.
Each shift has they can bring up their food. Some guys, I guess we're a little more healthy these days than we used to be, so some guys don't want to eat the same thing other guys do, and it gives them an opportunity to bring that up, store it, and not have to drag it in with them every shift when they come in. So.
And speaking of eating well, the charcoal area, I'm going to call it that. Outside
The
area.
patio, the charcoal area, and the old building, the guys, if they were going to cook outside, they had to leave the building, go through the living room, across the apparatus floor, out back behind the building, cook their hamburgers, bring them all the way back through the building. And in this building, they can just walk right out the doors to the patio charcoal area and cook and bring it back in the kitchen. It also gives them a place that during the nice days they can get outside
Yeah.
and
If family
drink coffee
members
or
get to come
family
out,
members
they
or-
can have a little cookout on
Exactly.
their shift. That's really
Everything.
nice. And family is very important
It's
to this fire department.
It's one of the most important. These guys spend over 1/3 of their lives here.
Yes.
We talk about they have a 24-hour shift. Well, they do. They are dedicated here 24, and then the next 24 after that, they're technically on call, and they'll spend part of that 24 back up here. So our joke is you work 48, and we try to give you 24 off. So they spend a large portion of their lives up here. So I think it's our duty to try to get their family to see them as much as they can when they're here, especially during the holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, those times. You'll also see our guys out at football games,
Right.
T-ball games. If it's of an evening and they can get out there, they may not get to see the whole game because they may have to leave and go to work, but if they can see part of it, that's real important to us as
Yes.
well.
Yes. Well, let's see. Moving along, I think we come into.
We came out through an airlock, which airlocks were built in this building to keep diesel exhaust and that sort of stuff in the apparatus bay and not in the living quarters. Came out into an airlock, which led you to what we call an alarm room. Cushing's a little different at this time. 911 calls come into the PD call center dispatch. At that point, they alert the fire station, which we can talk about alerting here in a minute, but they alert the fire station, let us know what the call is, and then we pick up all radio traffic and dispatch for ourselves. So that alarm room serves that purpose. It's also an area where they can finish ambulance reports, work on study if they're going to school, those sort of things. And then across the hall from that is EMS supply storage, which is a secure room also. We discussed that a little bit, being paramedic.
Yes.
We have things that we have to protect a little more.
And it certainly is quite secured. I was
it's
surprised.
very secure.
Yeah.
We strive to meet everything that the OB&D wants us to meet. So And then we walk out of that room, we go into the apparatus floor, which those 4 bays were designed for the equipment that we use daily. So we have 2 ambulances, 2 fire engines, a rescue, 2 grass trucks, and then what we call a chase car. If you've ever noticed around town, ambulance leaves, and then you'll see the Tahoe show up behind it.
Yes.
Part of the time, if we don't have a paramedic on the ambulance, the guy in the Tahoe will be a paramedic.
Oh, okay.
So if the call needs that level of service, he'll take over and one of the other guys will come back.
Okay.
If it's not a paramedic on there, it'll be a shift officer. If there's anything that needs to be answered question-wise or anything else, then he can make those decisions from there.